Hi, my dear Astro family. Today we are going to be discussing the upcoming full moon that is going to be taking place on the 10th of March, and it's going to be happening on 20 degree of Pisces. Now, this is a really interesting new moon because I'm going to be talking about 3 or 4 asteroids today, and all are connected to healing. So it looks like the medical field will be very switched on in the upcoming 1 month. So basically, somewhere between 10th of March until about 8th of April altogether. So let's see how it's going to be unfolding. By the way, this is going to be a super moon. Now, the supermoon is when the moon is closest point to the Earth, and we also call it as lunar perigee. A full moon during perigee will appear at least 15% larger and a good 30-35% brighter as well when it's furthest away from the Earth. So this is definitely something that's going to be affecting us significantly. Now, new moons are about intention settings. And because it appears a lot larger and brighter as well, it tends to be affecting us. Whenever you are kind of like setting your intention, maybe those intentions are more accessible, or something is getting revealed to you. It becomes a little bit more visible, even though it's Pisces, but you might be able to see it through. And of course, we've got this stellium going on in the sign of Pisces as well. So Venus will be popping into the sign of Pisces in a couple of days after the new moon occurs. And we've got Neptune there, Sun and Moon. So we've got quite a full-on Pisces house in your chart. If you want to know how it might play out in your personal life, then you might want to join my YouTube membership, and then I will break it down for you for each of the rising signs as well. But so how to work with this super full moon? First of all, typically we've got 3 or 4 super moons annually. In 2022, for example, we had 2 of them. One of them was the June's full strawberry moon. And this year we've got 5 happening, actually, 5 in a row. Now, obviously, because your Pisces cusp of the chart is really emphasized this month, so it's all going to be about sensitivity. You're going to have to do some type of healing because Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, so it does bring in the element of growth as well. Remember, Jupiter is in the sign of Taurus still, so it might talk to us about financial growth or healing something around your financial attitude as well. Pisces is an invitation to be creative about how to make money, how to work on your self-esteem. So it's really time to kind of like look at whether you are confident about yourself. It would talk to you about, yes, starting something new when it comes to your food intake. You might want to cut something out. You might want to increase another part of it, and so on. This is about imagination. So it would talk to you about the law of attraction. Visualize something. We've got Saturn also in the sign of Pisces, so visualize it, and then you can actually crystallize that. It's so important sometimes to get away from mundane responsibilities. Pisces does talk to us about the need to rest, to switch off the batteries, to recharge the batteries, and then going for it. Remember that the new moon is about setting intentions, starting a kind of like a new period of time for yourself. It's even the rebirth of the body as well. Now, statistically speaking, and that would be the negative side, when there is super full moons happening, then unfortunately the possibility of floods or tides or even too much rain could be actually one of the themes that might be coming up. But also when we talk about, an ultimate sign of waters and seas, then it could really talk to you about the flood of emotions. So this could talk to you about an emotional period as well. You can become emotionally overwhelmed. You can actually kind of like yearn to connect with others, to place yourself into other people's shoes as well. It might be about feeling sorry for others, feeling sorry for yourself as well. And at the same time, it could really be a confusing time as well, in a sense, what the purpose of my existence is, how I want to be going forward. This is maybe not a time exactly on the day when you should be planning the future. Maybe you need to be meditating a little bit on it. Maybe it's just a little bit resting, sleeping, singing in the bathroom, having a hot tub of water, and then just laying down there, surrounded by candles and so forth, so that you can stimulate the mind. Also, this could be about the importance of healing your soul. It could talk to you about sleeping patterns. Do you go to bed on time? Do you have got the tendency to wake up early? Do you wake up in the middle of the night because somehow your sleep is getting disturbed? Then in that case, you might want to think about, let's say, for example, your cortisol level. Are you stressed about something? Pisces wants you not to stress. Pisces wants you to kind of put aside all the work, all the worry, what you've got, all the anxiety, and then somehow just replace them with some creative outlets. Now, also very interesting, by the way, and we haven't had that for a while either, that this is a wedge astrological configuration. So what is a wedge? Wedge is when the planets are within 120 degree. Well, 130 to be precise, but it's a really tight one now. So a wedge in astrology is a planetary pattern that kind of like forms a triangle shape, with one planet being the apex, and another planet would be kind of like the push of the engine, and the other one is kind of like the pull of the engine. So that would be the wedge. So it basically talks to us about life purpose. We have got a very much of a concentrated part of the chart, what we tend to be focusing on. And of course, we've got this time around the Aquarius, the Piscean, and the Aries cusp of the chart, and a little bit, of course, when it comes to Taurus, because we've got two planets there too. So this is something to do with my placement in the world. This is something to do with personal development so that I can fit the society better, for example. Obviously, one of the leading planet here is going to be Pluto, because that is bringing in the first planet, which is in um, the sign of Aquarius, right? And the last planet would be something to do with Uranus, because that's on 19 degree of Taurus at the moment. So this is a very interesting chart for me. Another thing I'd like to mention here is that very interesting to see that Mercury at the moment of the new moon is on 0 degree of Aries. And that is where we're going to have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction happening in a couple of years' time. The reason why I think it's very interesting is because Saturn and Neptune midpoint is somewhere around 19-20 degree of Pisces. That's exactly where the new moon is happening. So it's very possible that we are going to be receiving a little bit of a glimpse of what to expect, for example, from 2026 onwards. You know what? Mercury being switched on here, which is sitting on the world axis, could talk to you about, a little bit transportation, voting system. Of course, we've got 50 elections going on this year, if I'm not mistaken. So this could talk to us about how the voting system will be changing, or that you're going to send your votes in, for example, on post office, and it can cause an element of a confusion, of course, with this heavy Pisces element as well. So this lunation is on the midpoint of Saturn and Neptune, and Saturn is about reality, our barriers and limitations, and with Neptune, we want to be able to dissolve those. So this is an ultimate healing combination for me. I will be making a video about this Saturn-Neptune conjunction, I think, very soon, because this is something we need to be ready for. So we might get a taste of what to expect from this lunation for the time of 2026. It is wanting you to look at what your dreams are, what area of life would you like to grow, because this lunation is ruled by the planet of Jupiter, and that is talking to us about growth and expansion. And in the sign of Taurus, that's the growth of our pretty much strength and confidence level as well at the same time. But probably this is bringing in some type of business endeavors as well, because Jupiter is still making that sextile to Saturn. And Jupiter and Saturn cycles are about the workforce, all about business endeavors, all about entrepreneurship as well at the same time, and some type of governmental changes. On a personal level, this is about personal development. For example, how to take your career forward, especially if it's happening in the 10th or the 6th or even in the second house. This lunation is asking you to reflect on something. I tend to call also Pisces as kind of like a mirror, like, the reflection of the sea, and then you can see yourself. And of course, the waves are coming around, and there is a little bit of a distorting of your own image. So this wants you to see things a little bit clearly, or at least envision how you would like to look like, for example, in a couple of years' time, and so forth. Now, Pisces dreams, and we all have got our own dreams, but having Jupiter in the sign of Taurus, especially to a sextile with Saturn, how are you going to bring those dreams down to earth? So this will talk to you about the crystallization of your own dreams. This also can talk to you about, because Taurus is kind of like the appreciation of beauty and artistry. So I feel like this is telling you to kind of reward yourself as well for all the little things that you can appreciate in life. And that's why we need to put aside whatever is the worry or the subject of our anxiety at the moment. Now, Neptune is sitting on 27 degree of Pisces. And I noticed that Neptune is actually right on an asteroid called Hera. And Hera was the wife of Jupiter. Now, Hera is a relationship asteroid, pretty much. So this would talk to you about such things as commitments. It would talk to you about kind of like the boredom when it comes to our sexual relationships, or a relationship where you feel imprisoned, or it is a dissatisfying marriage as well. Because unfortunately Zeus cheated on Hera, and Hera was pretty much aware of it, and she always wanted to kind of take a revenge on it, or revenge on him. But there is that ultimate kind of like invitation to let go of a relationship that does not work and maybe moving on. She was extremely jealous, and then she was kind of like doing this scorekeeping, okay, you cheated me on now, then I'm going to be kill Hercules, for example, as a revenge, and so forth. So this can bring in the topic of the need to heal jealousy, vindictiveness. This is asking you to be a little bit more determined. This is telling you whether you are faithful, or a person in your life is unfaithful, or you are faithful to your own plans and dreams and commitments as well. This is bringing in the topic of fairness and equality in relationships. And then if we really think about, Hera, probably there was an element of fear of abandonment as well at the same time. So often those subconscious fears, for example, might be connected the fear of rejection. Remember I said that this is a wedge chart, and one of the leading planets there is Pluto on 1 degree of Aquarius. And Aquarius is about emotional detachment. So surely this lunation is asking us to review whether we can get in touch again with our, feelings. And that's going to be extremely important. By the way, Hera is also known as the goddess of childbirth as well. But as I said, she continuously had a fight with Zeus. So maybe this is an invitation to look at how we can dissolve the problem in our marriage by having less fights, for example, or having less kind of like jealousy there, probably. So Hera is one of the really exciting factor here. Now, the other one I notice that this is very important, that we have got the new moon happening on Hygeia. So Hygeia is only 2 degrees apart from this new moon. And Hygeia was the daughter of Asclepius, who was the god of medicine. So Hygeia is very much about prevention, medical fields, and medicine as well at the same time. It could talk to us about just our daily routines. For example, the way you brush your teeth. Why do we brush teeth? Because we want to be preventing something, such as any type of bacteria and so forth. So in astrology, Hygeia's position in your birth chart would represent the state of your health as well as your well-being. It is the asteroid of purification as well. So it comes with some type of cleaning, clearing out. Yes, in negative ways, it would talk to us about certain type of health issues, but it also offers cure as well at the same time. So I feel like the Piscean full moon, new moon, is an invitation to bring together your emotional and physical well-being, doing something that you truly enjoy so that you can boost your health and you can put it in good order as well. This is about being aware of your own conditions. But remember, Hydra is kind of like a little bit stuck between this Jupiter and Saturnian energy. So Saturn is about conservatism, and Jupiter is about faith and idealism. So we're going to have to bring it together. Maybe this is an invitation to do some alternative healing as well as going back and revisiting maybe the ancient healing techniques as well. So this new moon is an invitation to find a healing technique that is going to be allowing you to get rid of your own fears. So also very interesting. The other thing that I noticed, and I also find it really interesting, that we have got an exact opposition happening between Saturn and Juno as well. Why am I talking about that? Because remember I said that this new moon is placed on the midpoint of Saturn and Neptune. And Juno is about commitment. It's about partnership and soulmate connections, kind of like the karmic match made in heaven. But we have got a opposition going on at the moment between them two. So this could talk to you about kind of like having a little bit of a tension between wanting to be in a relationship and your personal independence. It could talk to you about because opposition is about balancing something out. So here you would need to be able to balance out your personal development as well as your desire to be independent. At the same time, of course, Juno is in the sign of Virgo on 11 degree, by the way, which could pretty much talk to you about questioning whether this relationship is serving you or not. This could bring in an inner conflict, whether I want to be, let's say, being committed to my responsibilities, or am I committed to my own fears, how the fears are actually restricting me. So how to find the balance. Obviously, Piscean energy is about digging deeper, having a meaningfulness to something. So we might want to be having a meaningful partnership. But then Virgo, do I want to roll up the sleeve? Do I want to actually work on this? Because you might have been very disappointed and you have worked a lot, and there is an element of giving up with this as well. So this new moon, Pisces new moon, probably wants you to work a little bit on your strength as well, with Jupiter being in the sign of Taurus sextile to Saturn, which is also a strength combination as well, to overcome your own obstacles. This is giving you an opportunity to grow your personal relationship, to place yourself in the shoe of others as well. It is asking you to look at your limiting belief systems as well. It is asking you to somehow harmonize your own needs and the partner's needs as well. So ask yourself the question, what does commitment mean to me? Remember that relationships are a reflection of our own insecurities when they are not working harmoniously. And that's exactly what, of course, the Pisces new moon is asking you to do, to look into the reflection of the sea and see yourself in a different picture. And another very interesting thing is that Jupiter is sitting on Panakeia. Its astrological number is 2878, if you want to be looking that up. I might want to give you the astrological numbers for all of them. So Hera is 103, Hygeia is number 10, Juno, you will find that on Astro.com. It's a major asteroid, so it's going to be listed in the additional objects. And then Panakeia is 2878, if you want to be looking up where these asteroids are placed in your chart. Now, why I found very interesting that Panakeia is also sitting on Jupiter, because Panakeia was the sister of Hygeia, so therefore the daughter of Asclepius, who is the god of medicine. So she is connected to healing as well. Panakeia is the representation of treatment. It's kind of like a healing elixir overall. This is helping you to eliminate some type of sickness and attachments in your life. She is talking to us about alternative healing as well as kind of like holistic view as well. She is also the elixir of life, so this could talk to us about how to prolong our life and so forth. So probably we're gonna see some medical advancements. Maybe there is going to be some announcements in the medical field about the discovery of, let's say, a remedy of, diabetes and so forth. By the way, Panakeia is the representation of remedies as well at the same time. Also, Panakeia tells you that we all have got the ability to heal. So I'm just wondering, for example, with Jupiter in the sign of Taurus, that food is actually a healing element, and it's worth looking at what you put into your own body as well. Now, Panakeia being in the sign of Taurus, so that is telling you that sensuality, sexuality, the ability to ground yourself has got healing elements to it. It is asking you to have a deeper connection to the earth, for example, so walking barefoot on the beach, in the sand, and so forth. It could talk to you about kind of like rooted vegetables, or just looking at the natural rhythm and cycles of the body as well. This is about the power of a nature. And yes, with Pisces, I would say walking in the forest, hugging a tree, and all those type of things are really beneficial for us. This is telling us that we need to focus on self-care, proper nutrition, listening to your own body, and that we can achieve a long-lasting health and well-being. So this is what I feel about this new moon. I feel like on a personal development level, this is bringing in the healing of your soul, And on a universal level, yes, this could be a shout out that maybe in 26, unfortunately, we're going to be experiencing another pandemic. This could talk to us about, of course, we are in March, so there could be a flu jab, and all those type of things. But most importantly, this is the time to start working on any of the things that troubles you. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you did, please press like, subscribe to my channel. I noticed that at least 60% of the people who watch my videos are not the members of my family, and I would like to have you on board. Oh, I was talking so much about asteroids that I almost forgot to mention a couple of other very important details here. So we have got the new moon happening on 20 degree of Pisces, and it has got quite a tight sextile to Uranus as well. And Uranus is the planet of discoveries and revolution and demonstrations. So again, this is a testimony that we might see some revolutionary progression or discoveries, for example, in the medical fields, but also it can connect to art and the music industry as well. And while Uranus is making this sextile to the new moon, Mars is actually squaring Uranus at the same time. So I want to combine that too. Now remember that sextile is an opportunity. Uranus is the planet of intuition, so it can intuitively hit you. Something can intuitively hit you, and then you have got this very progressive idea, for example. So yes, surely I think we're going to see some advancements in the area of medical fields very soon, but it can also the representation of the financial fields as well. So maybe it's a recovery of a currency, for example. Remember, Mercury is on 0 degree of Aries. So the recovery, for example, of a currency, or actually the complete kind of fall over of that, you can get loads of insight through dreams and meditation as well, or you might be able to get this piece of information from the collectiveness. Of course, Uranus wants you to liberate yourself from something, so liberate yourself from drama. Pisces rules drama triangle, but also Uranus might want you to liberate yourself from all the fears and attachments what you've got. Uranus is asking us to think outside of the box when it comes to a new opportunity. And also with Pisces, Uranus, and Pluto involvement, you know what? This is really a kind of like a humanitarian combination. So, for example, imagine if there happens, God forbidden, there is a flood somewhere, and then we would see that there are people who want to make a difference. Maybe they are going to be collecting money or sending food, for example, with Uranus being in the sign of Taurus, or kind of like the food banks or some type of natural disasters. And it's always warming my heart to see when people actually pull together and they want to be helping other people. But then we've got this Mars and Uranus. And Uranus is the planet of disruption. So the positive side of that is the disruption to your anger and frustration. A square would represent some type of tension and conflicts, for example, between our mind and the body as well at the same time. It could represent, unfortunately, such things as protests, demonstrations, when people are kind of like, had enough, and then they want to be actually giving voice to their frustration. This is an urge to break free from restriction, to rebel against authority figures as well. But watch out, because Mars has got the tendency with Uranus to act really irrationally or quickly. And then Mercury is on 0 degree of Aries as well, which is an impulsive decision making. So it kind of breaks out of nowhere. type of energy. On a personal level, you know what? Watching out for conflicts. As I said with the Pisces new moon, it's an invitation to place yourself in other people's shoes as well. And this Mars square Uranus might make it a little bit more difficult. Mars Uranus loves breaking the rules as well. And again, Pisces is not necessarily so much caring about rules. So, but at least it tells you to attend your own rules and to do a little bit of a look around what is happening around you. Also, you can feel so energetic, you can feel so kind of pumped up to start fresh. So I love that idea. We can get a little bit crazier, or we can get a little bit more impulsive as well. For example, at workplace, we might, just get into some arguments, for example, with the boss, but also it can push you to come up with some creative problem-solving skills as well. And then, of course, this might actually represent some type of sexual scandal as well that might be popping up on the social media. I mean, Neptune, Piscean element can represent scandal, and then of course Uranus and Mars all together is about some type of sexuality energy as well, quite heightened as well at the same time. We can get a little bit kinkier with this. We can have quite, kind of like getting into danger zones as well. You might be a little bit less careful or less considerate towards your own safety. I mean, this could talk to us about, I think I mentioned it already at the beginning, but let's watch out for anything to do with scamming or clicking on irrationally on a link that you were sent on email, or because Pisces loves, kind of being in giving help to others, giving a hand to others. And this Mars square Uranus could indicate that unfortunately they are kind of criminals. Both planets represent criminality. And with Mercury being on 0 degree, surely this could talk to us about such things. But in a positive way, this is about scientific breakthroughs, even maybe a little bit more of a dangerous type of experiment we want to be doing, then in that case, the lack of attention and concentration can be the downfall of yours. So watch out for that. This is the reason why the Pisces new moon wants you to step back a little bit and making sure that you kind of meditated on something before you make a decision. So now I got to the end of it because I forgot to give you that little piece of information, which I feel it's actually very important to get the full picture of this new moon. Have a good one, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.